welcome back to the 21 Days of Yule. Let's see what we've got going on for today. So day 13 is Sigil Magick. Alright, so today's activity is Sigil Magick, and this is one of my favorite and most simple forms of magic that I do on the regular. Now I'm going to just share with you a really simple method that I have learned that I find to be the most accessible and the easiest to do if you are brand new to Sigil Magick. All you need for this is a pen and a piece of paper. So I just have my favorite fuzzy pen that I keep with this particular journal. I have a journal to sort of do some planning out of my sigil. And then I've also grabbed, for fancy, and you do not need this, a piece of nice parchment and a pen, a glass dip fountain pen that I use specifically for magical work. I got this in my November 2018 Witch's Moon box, as well as some ink. This is a protection ink that came in that same box, and I have a small thing of water to rinse my pen. But you can do, and I often do sigils, even with just a black Sharpie once you've nailed down the design. Now to create a sigil, there's a whole bunch of different methods, but I'm just going to share with you my personal favorite because it's really, really easy. The first thing you want to do is just decide what is the magical working that you want to do. So in my case, let's say I want to do, well, it's Yule time. Let's say I want to focus, I'm just thinking on the fly here. Why don't I say I want to focus on healthy relationships? So I'm going to write out healthy relationships. Now I find that it's a bit easier to make a sigil with a longer word or a couple of words than something too short. It gives you a lot more to work with. So these are my letters, healthy relationships. And my focus is going to be on healthy relating, like communication, all that kind of stuff. So the first step in creating your sigil is you write out your word. I like to use all capital letters because it makes it a lot easier to work with. And then go through and cross out any of your vowels. So that's my E, my A. I'm going to leave the Y. E, A, I, O, I. The next thing I want to do is cross out any duplicate letters. So I only need one H, one L. Oh my gosh, let's see. We have H, L, T, Y, R. There's another T, so we can cross that one out. There's an N, an S, another H we don't need, a P, and an S. And now I'm going to rewrite just the letters I have left. So I have H, L, T, Y, R, N, S, and P. So this is what I have left. Hopefully this is showing up on all of your guys' screens. Okay, I'm going to try to bring it a little more into the middle of the frame. Okay. So now I want to start crafting the sigil using all of these letters. Now I like to use a nice straight line in the middle of a lot of my sigils, and that may change as I build the sigil, but let's just start with that T. So I'm going to make a nice straight line in the center, and I'm going to just cap it with, for now, a short line. So there's my T. Cross out my T. Now I need an H, and so I think what I'm going to do is create a bit of a satellite here. So I'm going to make this line a little bit longer, and then I'm going to put a shorter line right underneath it. Now one thing I like to do with my sigils is I like to mirror my lines or my letters that I build into the sigil. So I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. So this is again just my T. That line's a little bit big, but that's okay, you get the idea. And my shorter line. So now I've got a T and an H. Good. Now I technically also have L's all over the place in this particular design, so I don't need to worry about my L. I can add more L-ness later if I feel like I need it. Now I'm missing a Y. And what makes a really good Y, I think, in this particular case is an X. So I'm going to build my Y. And I love doing this on graph paper or lined paper because it gives you sort of points of reference. So now I've got my Y, but I'm going to mirror it. So I'm going to go down and down. So that's my Y. I need an N. And I think I'm going to do that sort of Z style. So as you can see, I have put my X up a little higher than center, so I'm gonna make what looks more like a Z than an N, but same idea, just like that, along that center line. So now my N is in there. For my S, I think I want to build something maybe onto the ends here. So I'm gonna make kind of like a spirally shape. So whoop, 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 like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So I'm gonna go whoop, whoop, whoop. So I just kind of made these curly Q kind of shapes. I'm not sure I like that actually, so I'm going to take that out. Just remember, this is a scratch paper. Where else could I put an S? I'm going to make an angular S, I think. So how about I build it here? Boop, boop, boop. Just like that. So here I've put my S there, and I'm going to do the other thing, same thing on the other side, and I often turn my paper around. Boop, boop, boop. There. So now I've got these two sort of S-like shapes there. There's my S. Lastly, I'm looking for an R and a P, and I usually incorporate those together. And I think I'm going to put that right, let's do it here. So there's a P. This other one's going to be mirrored. It's not going to look right now. So we're going to add a little P like that, and a P over here, and a little line, and a little line, and there's my R. Okay, so this looks a little bit messy because I've just been scratching it out. I'm going to redraw the sigil in a minute so you can see what it really looks like. So I'm going to turn my paper over, or I'm just going to move my paper over to the blank side so you guys can see what I'm doing. How am I doing this? There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to redraw it, and I've got a line, a line, a line, two shorter lines, then I have my P and my R on each part here, got like that. I'm going to add my Y, and my boop, 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 and boop, boop, boop. There's my S's and my Z. Well, this is really an N. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So that's what my finished sigil looks like. There we go. And I like to put my sigils into a circle. So when I do it on my parchment, I'm going to put a circle around it. And that is my healthy relationship sigil. So now I'm going to take my parchment, and I'm going to recreate it, this time while putting all of my focus and my intention on the magical working itself. Sometimes this is actually the hardest part. So I'm just going to get my ink ready here. There's my ink. Once I've completed my sigil, I'm going to sign it. Now you can sign it magically, you can sign it with a symbol, you can do whatever you want. I'm just going to use a simple sigil using my own initials. And I'm going to put it right at the bottom of the sigil. This is what I personally like to do. Your mileage may vary. And so that's what I'm going to use as a signature today. Now you can, if you wish, once you're done writing the sigil, write underneath what your intention is, but I personally like to stick to just the imagery. It feels a lot more potent. It feels like I'm sending a message right to my subconscious. And so I'm just going to leave it there. I just put my hand right in the ink. Classic. And once I'm done making the sigil, The next thing I like to do is charge it. So I will usually place the sigil somewhere in a magical space. So this will be on my altar. This might be elsewhere in my home, somewhere I want to really send the message of that. Oh, I've got ink all over myself now. Where I might want to really invoke that happy relationship. So this would be a really wonderful one to put in the bedroom, for example, since that's obviously a place we associate with the relationships, or at least the home relationship in my case. So I'm just going to try to get some of this ink off. So that is how you do simple sigil magic. Once you have, your sigil has served its purpose, you can either make sigils with the intention of reusing them, or you can, once you're done, or once you feel like they've filled they filled the need or they've served their purpose, you can burn them in your cauldron, or you can dispose of them in any other way that is responsible and makes sense for your personal practice. So that is Sigil Magic today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for more 21 Days of Yule. Bye!